Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
This is a beer that's a long time in the works.
Long time in the coming.
And it's not done yet. So this is just kind of like a check right now to see how it's doing.
Okay.
Because it's not really ready yet.
Did you bottle all of them? I mean, they're all in the bottle, or
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't like pull sample and bottle it.
But I only bottled it like 11 days ago.
Oh, okay.
And so it's not fully carbonated, but I wanted to try it because, you know, I think it'll evolve over time because it's got some Brettanomyces in there. This is a beer that I brewed out on the patio on Christmas Day when it was like 70 degrees outside. The video of me brewing, I'm wearing short sleeves and shorts on Christmas Day. This is a kettle sour beer.
Okay.
I wanted to use Lacto Brevis from Imperial to do a kettle sour of this beer, which we've done in the past with no issue at all. But something went wacky with with this fermentation, and through help from Casey and Alex at Imperial Organic Yeast, they have excellent, technical support there. We were able to find a solution, and I think that it's going to be a fun beer. So strap in,
buckle up,
strap in, because here we go.
Okay.
I brewed this beer. I started out with into 7 gallons or 26.5 liters of water at 150 degrees Fahrenheit or 65 C, which is a gallon less than I usually use. I put 10 pounds or 4.5 kilograms of American 2-row, and I mashed at 150 degrees Fahrenheit or 65 C for 60 minutes. And then I collected my wort and I brought it up just to the boil, just to sanitize. And then I immediately chilled it down to 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 37.8 C. And I added into this 5-gallon carboy the Lacto Brevis, which is a lactobacillus from Imperial Organic Yeast. And then I racked on top of that, I racked the wort, which I filled all the way up to the rim of the carboy. And then I washed my kettle and put the carboy into my brew-in-a-bag electric system from highdgravitybrew.com and put some water around the carboy to use it as a sous vide, which I then held that at 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 37.8 C for 48 hours. The first 24 hours, my little pH meter said I was at 4.2 pH. 24 hours later, I was at 3.4. So then I poured that back into the kettle. I brought it up to the boil, and I boiled 1 ounce or 28 grams of Czech Sots at 3.2% alpha acid for 15 minutes. That's all. Then I chilled that down to normal yeast pitching temperature, and I pitched a packet of Imperial A01 House.
Okay.
Now, in the past, that's worked out fine, and the fermentation ensues. Well, nothing happened, not even a bubble for like 2 days.
Wow.
So I freaked out a little bit, and I had a couple of packets of US-05, Safale US-05, which I hydrated and I pitched into the wort. Again, nothing. Nothing happened.
Crickets.
So I contacted, the folks at Imperial Organic Yeast, and I said, "What should I do?" They said, "Add yeast energizer," which I did. Add oxygen, which I did. And at the same time, I did a forced fermentation test, which is what I took a liter of wort and I put it on the stir plate, and I added another packet of US-05 in there, just to give optimal conditions, just to see if the wort was fermentable at all. And it did. The gravity did come down of that test wort. So we knew that the wort was fermentable. But it wasn't getting much action from the Saccharomyces. So I got a packet of W15 Suburban Brett from Imperial.
Okay.
I pitched that in there. Then 10 days after that, I took another gravity reading of the main wort, and it was actually fermenting.
But it took the Brett.
But it took the Brett.
Wow.
So 2 months later, I just let it go. So 2 months later, I take another gravity reading, and it was down to 1006, and the beer tasted good. So I started out at 1046, finished finally at 1006 for an ABV of 5.2%. And then a week after I took that gravity reading, I bottled with 100 grams of corn sugar, and I got 37 bottles out of the deal. So I think that what happened was my little pH meter, even though I calibrated it, I don't think it was right. I think the wort was just probably too sour for Saccharomyces, but the Brettanomyces got in there and it did the job. So, you know, I got, 800 billion cells
I was going to say, there's
of stuff in there.
it's more like a sourdough starter than a beer.
It's more yeast than beer.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to give up on it, doggone it.
Well, I would name this probiotic.
Yeah, that's right. So it's not, I tried one last night and it's not fully carbonated. It's got a little bit of a hiss, but I think it's enough that we can take a sample, take a sip, and kind of benchmark it right now.
Okay.
And then maybe 6 months down the line,
I think that sounds great.
we try it again.
Would you call it an allergy hiss?
I don't know what I'd call this thing. I felt like
All right, well, let's just bless it with the Popener.
they got the Popener, and that one didn't hiss.
That didn't hiss.
So this may be flat beer.
That's all right.
But the one last night did hiss, I swear. But it may take a while for the Brett to even work on that addition.
Not much of a head on that boy.
No, it's the Brewery Antoinette of beers. Too soon.
Too soon. Okay.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
You got a little bit more of the cookie than I did.
I took the second
more
pour.
clear.
It's got a yellow hue.
Yellowish hue. It smells funky.
It smells funky.
But not in a bad way, in my mind.
It's got some uptown funk going. No, not in a bad way. But it's now, if I was a Bud Light drinker,
yeah.
I'd be like, what are you trying to do here?
Yeah, something's wrong.
So I'm going to have to cut you if you serve me this.
To me, it's got a Brett, a nose of Brettanomyces.
It's good.
Ooh. It gets the salivary glands really going there.
It's very young.
Yeah.
It's very young.
Yeah.
I think that it's very interesting. There's nothing wrong with it, although it is an acquired taste. Mm-hmm. Let's just face it.
If you like wild beers.
Yeah. It's got a lovely, like lemony, I won't say banana, but just kind of a tropical fruit, but lemon more than anything. A little peppery. I mean, all these things you would expect.
It's got a really solid tartness.
It's very tart, yes, but it's not overly sour. I don't think.
No, it's not stripping the enamel.
I remember a Kettle sour beer you did that you then got one of our local brewers he brewed it up into a batch.
Right.
I had some at the brewery. It was like a power whitening on my teeth.
I think that was at Fossil Cove, and that was maybe the first intentionally soured beer brewed in Arkansas.
I think it was. I mean, I don't know about the first intentional, but yeah, I couldn't remember if it was Fossil Cove or not.
There were other sour beers before then, but they were not on purpose.
Yeah, they weren't on purpose.
But do you get the Brett funk in there? Do you get the like horse blanket? I can't talk. The horse blanket or the the barnyard.
Oh yeah, I
or
get all of it. I get the Bruno Mars funk. I mean, this has got uptown funk.
I like it.
I like it too.
I agree.
I want it to grow up.
Right.
And then I'll really like it because I like it now. It's actually good.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish it had a little. It's not really carbonated, so it's kind of flat and a little sour. It's got some things working against it, but none of those things are bad. They're just It's just youth.
But I think as the Brett works, you know, like if you've ever had a fresh Orval, you know, it just kind of tastes like a pale ale more or less.
Right.
But after it's been in the bottle for a while, you know, you get that nice Brettanomyces character to it.
Much more complicated beer.
I think that's where this is going to go.
I do too. I don't have any doubt about it.
And I could have saved a lot of steps by just, you know, instead of pitching the Saccharomyces in the beginning, after the Kettle sour, just go to the Brett. And I think that's what I might do in the future with Kettle sour beers. You know, because I was wringing my hands quite a bit, trying to figure out what the heck.
You'd think,
well, you know, it's like I added more yeast, I added oxygen, I added nutrient.
It was just too sour.
You know,
I mean,
I think
vinegary.
I think that's what happened. So,
well, that has got a world of potential.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
It's tangy. To me, it's got kind of a tangerine kind of thing going on.
It's a heavy citrus component, more lemon than orangey to me, but I get the tangerine. Mm-hmm. Maybe even some kumquat.
Leave it alone.
It has and you know what? The other thing is, it doesn't have a thin mouthfeel. It's not thin.
Right.
A lot of sour beers can be kind of thin.
Right.
And this one has a quite substantial mouthfeel.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting to see how that changes over time. Carbonation might bring up the mouthfeel, but you know, if the Brett works even more on it, it might. You know, it could be a balance over time. Anyway, that's fun.
That's fun. That's great. This is the Christmas sour.
That's right. The Christmas Day, Christmas Day Kettle sour. All right, and thanks to everybody at to Alex and Casey at Imperial Organic Yeast for helping walk me through this process of troubleshooting, and we figured it out. So there you go. Cheers, everybody. Happy brewing. Merry Christmas. Come and visit us online at basicbrewing.com. You can find archive lists of our audio and video podcasts on homebrewing. You can also find our DVDs and our brewer's logbook, where you can track and log up to 50 batches of beer.
It doesn't taste off at all.
No, and that's what shocked me is I had my hands in that bucket so much. I was afraid I was going to ruin it before it was all over.
That's like my old disaster beer from years ago, where I had to drain the mash tun. It was a stuck, sparge, I guess, and had my arms down in there and probably stomped it like grapes. I mean, I don't know what the heck I had to do, but then I was like, this is going to be ruined. But it was great.